Hi you guys, Claudia here. Today I'm doing something unprecedented. I'm eating on camera, like just full out, because I'm hungry, but I wanted to talk. And I got a little bit upset when I was cooking because I was watching Frederic Chen or Frederic Chen, I'm so sorry. I don't know if it's an E or an A. I don't really watch their videos that much. Happened to click into the one talking about Arigato Grande or Ariana Grande, and this is not like a response video to that video because I didn't really finish it unfortunately, because I just got upset because there was something said in the video that I just disagreed with, and you would know that I disagree with this if you've watched the K-pop beauty standards video or the I just put this on my lap beauty standards video, or listen to the full podcast, Head in the Clouds podcast. And basically what was said in that video from Frederic was that you know, like, stop saying that double eyelids is because of Asian people wanting to look like, you know, Western people. Like, not everything is about the West, not everything is about the US, I think was said, or just the West, and that it's just a beauty standard within Asia.
When Asian people get double eyelids, it is a beauty standard in Asia. It's not for America. Stop thinking that's all about the US, y'all. Asians don't think about you.
Clearly I'm Asian. I've got rice congee or congee, I don't even know how to say it. It's just some zhu with some tofu and some carrots and spam, aka luncheon meat or 午餐肉, because I'm hungry and I would like to eat some protein. How do mukbangers do it? I'm not gonna like talk and eat because that's very unbecoming, but I'm gonna have a bite here. It's also really hot anyway. I talked about double eyelid surgery in that podcast episode, but I kind of want to expand on it a little bit. So I agree with Frederic. I think that it is a beauty standard in and of itself in Asia today, rather than us trying to look white or look Western or anything like that. I have double eyelids, pretty pronounced. I think you can see them from most angles. Pretty pronounced double eyelids. Was praised for it as a little kid. You know, it wasn't really that big of a deal though, because I think less people are so rude about it nowadays, especially within my generation. Let me talk a little bit about the origin of double eyelid surgery as far as I'm aware. So you can obviously Google all of this, and I will try my best to fact check. I am a journalist by training, so I will fact check all this information, but I'm just gonna tell you what I've read so far on this topic. So the rise of double eyelid has a lot more to do with racism than things like colorism do, because colorism is more about classism. According to a lot of like historian type of people, they say colorism is because, you know, the poor people used to have to work out in the fields, out in, you know, outside in the outer worlds, while, you know, rich people can just stay at home, stay in their mansions, stay in their palaces, so they just stay pale. The double eyelid surgery, from what I can read, is a lot to do with racism. And when I say racism, I also mean racism within Asia, because yes, Asians can be racist to each other very, very, very much. This is really hard to talk about because I'm not very, very, very smart, but I do have a lot of opinions. Back in the days, China, for example, because I'm Chinese, I know a little bit more about Chinese stuff because my dad likes Chinese history. But basically, like, the kings and stuff, like, beauty standards were always changing. You know, people used to like the small feet, people used to like, you know, plump women, plump people in general, because it shows like 有福气, you know, like they have fortune, they are well off, they can eat a lot of stuff, which is, anyways, but then obviously today is completely different. They want a V-shaped chin, they want double eyelids. You know, back then, I don't think the eyelid thing was an issue at all, from what I've read. I will link to my reading list down below. But it wasn't an issue, therefore, but it shows that how much beauty standards change. So I think it's wrong to say that the double eyelid beauty standard has always just been an Asian thing within Asia, and that like people just always wanted it. I think that's quite wrong, and I don't see any big evidence of that, but if you do find it, please send it to me. I would love to read more about this. One of the earliest records, archives, stuff about double eyelid surgery was the Japanese. It was in 1895. Someone wrote about this, and I think it was written in like the U.S. about like how the Japanese wanted to sort of distance themselves from their Mongolian origin because they're a little bit racist. And so basically that was like removing the curse by like giving themselves the double eyelid. And then later on, you can see that it has quite frankly always been American surgeons bringing this double eyelid surgery into East Asia. From what I can read, there was this man called Dr. Stone or something like that who brought it over. And then there was also this surgeon in the Korean War who popularized double eyelid surgery in Korea because he thought that the slanted monolid look was very untrustworthy. It was a marker of deviance. And so that's why. So I think that is a very, very clear example of how that beauty standard came to be. It was brought over by them, but they didn't bring it over to make Asian people look Western necessarily. They brought it over for them to look less Asian, certainly, but it was so that they would look less evil, I guess, which is very racist, okay? But what I'm trying to say is that I don't think double eyelid surgery or the desire to have double eyelids, like Frederic said, is about looking Asian, looking white. I'm sorry, it's not about Asians trying to look white. I think if you go and ask anyone now about, you know, oh hey, why do you have double eyelids and why did you get them, they wouldn't say it's because to look white, you know. In the NPR article that I was reading, a lot of people also, like Asian people who moved to the United States, got the double eyelid surgery because of like this desire to basically be more accepted in Western society. So I think that is a different subsect of beauty standards, because diasporic communities tend to have very, very different issues compared to people in Asia. What I'm trying to say is that there is a lot of history to double eyelid beauty standard. And when I try to Google about it, a lot of it just comes back to the surgery. I don't know if back then people used to prefer babies with double eyelids or not, if they even cared. But certainly the surgery came mostly out of a lot of racist ideas. Like even the Japanese who like first had it and everything, like the blepharoplasty surgery thing, was because of a certain amount of racism, even if it is internalized or whatever. Frederic said it is a beauty standard within Asia, but I think it's kind of bad if we try to isolate it completely and say that it is nothing to do with Western standards of beauty and Western in communities and Western mindsets, because I think it does play into it quite a little bit. So double eyelid surgery, double eyelid beauty standard of beauty, I think has a lot to do with racism. And that's the end of the story.